So what if Death Note and Among Us had a baby? Well, what you get is the new social deduction game with a Death Note twist called Death Note Killer Within. We got to try it out for 1 hour at an exclusive media preview event by Bandai Namco, and our first thoughts were, oh, Death Note Among Us. But there are a bunch of new and unique Death Note related mechanics that really switch up the gameplay quite a bit, so let's talk about it.
Hey, this is Sean from Gamer Braves. It's been 8 years since we established Gamer Braves channel. We went to a lot of overseas game conference. We did a lot of exclusive interview with a lot of prominent figures from the industry, Ryuzo Sugimoto, Sean Layden, and even Yagu. One of the easiest way to support us is to subscribe to our channel. Support like this will actually gives us motivation and pushes us to produce better content. If you have already subscribed, thank you so much. Please enjoy the rest of the video.
Before we express our thoughts, we have to go over the game mechanics first, because having Death Note as the main team brings a lot of new and unique mechanics. A total of up to 10 players will be split into 2 teams. Team Kira will consist of 2 people only, which is Kira and a Kira follower, while Team L consists of L himself, and the remaining players are investigators. Team Kira's goal is to kill L, while Team L's goal is to arrest Kira, and at the same time, both teams can also win by filling up a progress bar up to 100 by doing various tasks. Every round has 2 phases. The action phase is where every player can go around doing tasks and act freely. The action phase only lasts for a short amount of time, and will then proceed to the meeting phase. In the meeting phase, every player will gather to discuss what happened during the action phase, with the use of preset messages, or more likely, the in-game voice chat. With this meeting, every player can cast their votes on who they think is Kira in order to arrest them. If the arrested suspect is Kira, they will drop the Death Note and give the win to Team L. Otherwise, if the arrested suspect is not Kira, they will only drop their ID, which contains their name, but they do not die. After the meeting phase, the game returns to the action phase, and repeats until Kira or L is killed, or either team's progress bar reaches to 100. The progress bar will constantly be rising based on the various tasks each team does, like solving crime scenes or talking to NPCs to gather intel. NPCs can also give various testimonies that can help your investigation, like saying, oh, 2 people were here before you arrived. Now to explain in Among Us terms, as the crewmate, do tasks, don't get killed, and vote out Kira. And if you're the sussy imposter, kill everyone and pin the blame on someone else. As Team Kira, you have multiple ways to win. Your most powerful tool, of course, is the Death Note itself, where whoever's name is written on it will die at the end of the action phase, that of which you can choose the location and type of death, which is kinda fun. Problem is, you need to find out people's names, and you can do that with ID cards. Every player holds an ID card with their name on it, and Kira's team needs to steal these ID cards in order to learn their name and write it on the Death Note to kill them. ID cards can be stolen in multiple ways, either by pickpocketing them, or as mentioned earlier, voting a person, which will drop their ID. Everyone in Team Kira knows who's on their side, so Team Kira can actually pass the Death Note around to their Kira followers, and the new holder of the Death Note becomes Kira himself, while the former holder becomes a Kira follower. So this adds a new layer of strategy, because Team L has to vote out the current holder of the Death Note. Aside from these, Team Kira also has command cards that add a bit of chaos to everything, like for example, causing a crime scene that must be solved, or else Team Kira's progress bar will be increased. These are also good moments to steal an ID, because the person doing the task will have their screen blocked. To simplify things, Team Kira can create opportunities to steal ID cards, and write their name down in the Death Note to kill them. And to mix things up, you can pass the responsibility to another person. As Team L, you also have multiple ways to win. L himself can force any 2 people to work together on a task, which makes it harder for Team Kira to act without getting spotted. L himself also has access to cameras across the map, which makes it harder for Team Kira to effectively pass around IDs. Also, using the Death Note has a literal animation of you pulling it out and writing on it, so getting caught is basically a dead giveaway. What makes things harder for Team L is the fact that they have various crime scenes they must attend to, or Team Kira's progress bar will increase. Additionally, nobody in Team L actually knows who's on their side, so they'll have to figure it out themselves. So the hardest part of being L himself is to convince people to vote correctly in the meeting phase. When people are being voted out, L can choose another person to perform the arrest instead of himself. He has to choose carefully though, as accidentally choosing someone from Team Kira won't reveal the Death Note. If the arrested suspect is not Kira, they don't actually die. Instead, the arrested suspect and the person who performed the arrest will be handcuffed together for the rest of 1 round, letting Team L further observe the 2. So to simplify things, L has no clue who is who and has to use his various abilities to figure out everyone's identity, and most importantly, find and arrest the holder of the Death Note. So what do we think? Well, these kinds of games will take quite a while to learn the mechanics and develop a good reasoning behind your suspicion or discussions. So within our 1 hour playthrough, it's quite difficult to tell if the game is great or not, because it heavily depended on how well each person played. In our preview, we only got to try it out with the minimum number of players, meaning 2 players on each team. It's pretty weird with less players. You see, Kira can kill anyone pretty easily, which turns it into a 2v1 situation during the meeting phase, in which both players from Team Kira can get a majority vote on the last player, and they can do this to get their ID and then use that name to kill them next round. So you can basically force the meeting phase into your favor. So it's pretty clear that this type of game benefits from having more people to play with, that of which has a maximum of 10 players, making it a 2v8. Between the 2 teams, we found that playing on Kira's team was way more fun for us, since the abilities can heavily shift things into your favor. It's also pretty safe since you can just pass around the death note, despite being caught, so there's a lot more deception you can pull off as Team Kira. As for Team L, if you're just one of the inspectors, you can't really do much aside from assisting in tasks and just watching people. Team L only felt fun if you played as L himself, since you have various abilities that can help your deduction. But then again, it's L against the world, since you don't know anyone's identities. Overall, our enjoyment was pretty mixed. On one hand, the Death Note style mechanics bring a lot to the table, but the experience heavily relies on how good someone is. So since all of us were new, Team Kira mostly had the upper hand, as killing people was pretty easy. We weren't able to try the game out with more players though, so a full lobby with a 2v8 situation might be more interesting. I mean, after all, these types of games are most fun when you play with a group of friends. But still, it certainly has potential though, especially with the support of such a huge and relevant IP like Death Note, to bring an interesting twist to social deduction games. Death Note Killer Within will be releasing on PS4 and PS5 on 5th November and PC on 6th November with crossplay support available. So, will you be picking up this game? And how many of your friends will you bring along? Let us know, and don't forget to subscribe for future videos just like this one. And for those who stay to the end, we have a whole uncut round to show you, so sit back and enjoy.
急げ。 見守りましょう。見てください。
Why? Am I freezing up or shut up? So, 你要给我 ever 的。
你พูดต้นอ้อนเดี๋ยวใหม่
啊？
ต้นอ้อน
やっちゃえー
まずいな。安心だな。
First and who what? We got fan. Okay. Wait, let me oscillate. Ceiling fan, yeah, oscillate. Yeah. Can everyone communicate?
我々の勝利です。